Alright, so this is going to be my first ever video on trading, and this is a trade recap of today, February 10th on Tuesday. I started looking at the session highs, session lows of Asia and London, but I started trading before New York pre-market, and I marked out a fair value gap from the previous day on the 15-minute. Which I'm showing right now. And then I noticed a sweep of Asia lows at around like 8 o'clock, which then I used as my confluence for my trade at the start of the day. I started off looking at the minute time frame once I saw the sweep on the 5-minute chart. I saw a fair value gap right here, and also the order block, which is the blue candlestick right before the long white candlestick, which price tapped into on the doji candle, which is shown on the charts. And then I waited for the price to invalidate this fair value gap to get my entry, which was around I think 1 to 3 risk to reward, which we'll show in a second. And yeah, so this is my first trade of the day, and it didn't work out as well as I planned, though price did do exactly what I thought would happen. I did not execute it right in the end, sadly. I didn't accidentally, but I took partials at an imbalance around I took partials give me a second. Just showing. Yeah, it was 1 to 3.35 risk to reward if the trade would hit. I was targeting previous day highs, and then I did end up taking partials at around the second fair value gap, which was not the smartest, but I wanted to take some out, and I did set my stop loss to break even, which then stopped me out, and I only was able to get around like $15 on this 15K account, which isn't bad necessarily because I was still profitable for the day. And yeah, that was my only actual trade for the day. Alright, so now I'm just going over some trades that I was thinking about taking and might have taken if I was not busy at school or in a class. So there's a sweep. We see a sweep of the London session, or no, Asia session on the NASDAQ around right when market opens. So yeah, then we get an SMT divergence between the NASDAQ and the S&P. So this could have been a re-entry for me, but I just didn't see enough confluence to do that when I felt like it on the S&P, because it'll show it in a second. Once it's or I'll show it in a second. But we see how we do retrace back into like that order block on the 15-minute. It's kind of hard to see, but yeah. And then here it's just like I didn't see enough confluence to enter off that SMT divergence, so to re-enter, actually, not to enter. I just saw like a ton of accumulation and not really any like imbalance retracements or order block retracements, except for on the 15-minute, which wouldn't have been a bad trade, but yeah. And then I started looking like above here now. Just this is when I was not at my computer at all, so I couldn't actually trade. But now looking back on price, I'm just looking at things that I could have traded at this time period. So yeah, I'm remarking the London lows or session lows for a target area for this trade if I would have taken it. And yeah, so yeah, alright. So basically, we just see a sweep of Asia and London highs, and also previous day highs, and then we go back to the 4-hour. We see a giant fair value gap to the downside around. I'm gonna mark it out here. You can see the giant fair value gap, though it does tap through it, but we also have an order block on the last up candle, which you can see right here, which we get a clear rejection off of, which would have been a pretty good trade if I was at my computer. I probably would not have. There's a chance I would not have taken it just because, I don't know. You don't always know. And it was getting late into market anyways for my actual entry, which there wasn't really any on the S&P, so I went over to the NASDAQ, which had like the same imbalances and order blocks from the 4-hour time frame from a while ago. This has like less of a more like choppy area, even though it is still very choppy. I would have probably de-risked a lot more than I normally do due to how it's later in the session and more of a not as high confluence trade, but it's more choppy of an entry, so it would have been hard to actually adjust to. There was like 2 areas I would have traded into. One of them was kind of hard to actually do. So like you can see the first lower low of this trend, it's like it taps into a fair value gap, but it goes through it, so I wouldn't have taken that. So now I'm showing an order block trade I could have taken, which shows a break of structure, or wait, give me a second. An inverse fair value gap right at the bottom of that after it taps into the order block area. So that could have been an entry off of that candle closure, which would have been pretty good if I actually did it, but I most likely would have taken partials and gotten stopped out on a break even, just because I don't know. I like to take break evens just to be safe, and this is all on paper trading. I'm not actually trading yet. This is just for my journey and for to know when I'm ready. This would have been a 1 to 3 risk to reward if I took it and it actually hit. So that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll be posting more.